Hello and welcome to Robot Wars Battle of the YouTubers. And we have 3 heats left before the ultimate showdown in the grand finals. And today, it is the turn of my friend, the Snare Boy, with his 8 machines that surprisingly have bugger all to do with music. I was expecting musical themes. Only one machine has a name that sounds relatable. Every other machine, no. But, hey, they're what he picked. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they are and how they do. So, let's get down to the battle board and see how this heat lines up. The front hood ornament of left lane cruiser up against a spinning bar of Beholder. X marks the spot. A unique take on the flipper up against the crushing jaws of Wyvern. 2 small bots in the form of Velocity and Shum up to knock each other out. And Constrictor up against the American iconic hero, Uncle Sam. Left lane cruiser. Spinner. Built to resemble a low-riding car with a spoiler, a self-riding hood, and a front spinning drum blade. About as quick as a sports car as well. Being flipped won't be a problem as its hood will toss it back onto its wheels, but I think the exposed wheels might want other competitors to give it an unwanted pit stop. Beholder. Spinner. So we have 2 eyes in the form of the wheels and a 3rd eye in the center of the spinning bar. Not overly sure how to feel about that, to be honest with you. The front wedge will drive its prey into the spinning bar to rip them apart with the sharp teeth on the ends. All they need to do is make sure they don't have their wheels knocked off, otherwise they'll be a sitting duck.
Robot ears, stand by.
Left lane cruiser with the grinding blade at the front and the self-riding hood. And Beholder with the eyes on the wheels and on the spinning bar weapon with the little wedge at the front.
3, 2, 1.
I wonder how this will play out. Well, I think already left lane cruiser's in trouble. They've already lost the wheel. And Beholder's lost something too! I think that's superficial damage though, the wheel, but the fire isn't! That's critical! And I think left lane cruiser's lost another wheel! And now the drive is completely broken! There's no control! Beholder is Beholder, okay, I don't think so! They're still able to move though. Both these machines are mobile. I think in Beholder's case, actually I think in both cases, they're just mobile. And now, well, left lane cruiser throwing themselves up and over. Self-right. We knew they could. But, like, that just shows how compromised the drivers. Look at this. Driving backwards, and they've reversed into the wall and thrown themselves onto their side. That's saying something about that drive. Beholder stuck. Let the cruiser throwing themselves down the pit. Well, this would have been difficult to decide for the judges, let's be honest. Beholder, I think, though, definitely have trouble with their own drive. There is a compromise. And that's going to be some serious work down in the pits to fix. And I think we all know that. And now Beholder's now driven into the pit. And left lane cruiser using the weapon to help get them out. To no real avail. They just ended up back in it. Well, that's one way to start the heat. Utter chaos. Well, Beholder through nonetheless. Let's just move on from that. Next up, X marks the spot and Wyvern. X marks the spot. Flipper. Definitely an interesting design. Quite wide too, but the thing to me that really intrigues me is the flipper. The black panel with the X on it isn't your typical flipper, as it's not a rear hinge flipper or a front hinge flipper. It's literally like our very own arena floor flipper. The panel is connected to a piston powered by CO2 that will literally toss the opposition up into the air. Never seen a flipper like that before. I have, however, seen those exposed wheels. Wyvern! Control Bot! I absolutely love the design for this machine. It's really cool. The jaws are the key feature for Wyvern. They'll lure its prey up the wedge into its clamping jaws, where it can then drag them anywhere they want and even down the pit. But I'm not convinced that the Wyvern can self-right.
Robot ears, stand by.
X marks the spot, with the unique take on a flipper that I don't think anyone has ever seen in their life. And Wyvern, the control bot, who, compared to X marks the spot, is extremely tiny.
3, 2, 1.
Like, I wasn't expecting it to be that tiny, although I'll give it credit, it's got some speed and it's got some force, and it seems to already be giving X marks the spot some problems. And that's the weapon I was talking about. And it's not your normal flipper. And X marks the spot already being pressurized by Wyvern. And is there a problem here? Now, okay, it doesn't seem to be a problem, although Wyvern, you can't hold X marks the spot there, or you will be disqualified. Is X marks the... Okay, Wyvern moving away. X marks the spot. Up and over, and nearly taking the both of them! Well, that would have been a first for Robot Wars, and I think the both of them are stuck together. You can say that now, as Wyvern trying to right themselves if they can, while X marks the spot, using that to their advantage to push Wyvern towards the pit. All they've got to do is drive now, and that's it in the pit, and they've fallen in too. Well, that's it then. Wyvern out, X marks the spot, they're the winners. They progress through to the Heat semi-finals. Well, that was definitely interesting. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Wow. Oy, look at this. Almost out of the arena with that flip, trying to self-right. Instead, they righted themselves and toppled Wyvern over, which they then used to throw Wyvern into the pit with their weapon, and ended up down there themselves. One of the more less conventional ways of winning a fight, but it worked. They're through. Wyvern's out. Next up, Velocity and Strum. Velocity Flipper. A little bit smaller than most of its competitors, but don't let that fool you on its effectiveness. The flipper is extremely powerful and the drive is very quick. Looks a little bit like a mini Bronco, actually. The exposed wheels are a bit of a problem, but considering how powerful the flipper is, don't overly think it's that concerning. Strum Thwack Bot. A thwack bot using two axe heads as the weapon with the power to drive both ways up, meaning flipping the machine is going to be completely pointless, really. The armor is 3mm aluminium, but I don't really see much from this machine, as there is a high ground clearance and the wheels are quite exposed.
Robot ears, stand by.
Sorry about that, that was me having a drink of water before we could probably get into the fight. Anyway, Velocity with the CO2 powered flipper, and Strum the Thwack Bot with the two axe heads either side of the front arm.
3, 2, 1.
Also a lot of ground clearance, and Velocity is very, very low. It's already underneath Strum. Now, how does Strum plan to combat Velocity? I'm not sure if they know how to, really. Velocity now coming in on Strum, and at the arena, that was high, and that's the end of that. That's very quick, very fast, very efficient, and it's Velocity who goes through without breaking a sweat. Yeah, that was convincing. Well done, Velocity! They spin around in celebration and delight! And why not? That was an extremely quick victory for Velocity. They go through, Strum crash out. Next up, Constrictor and Uncle Sam. Constrictor! Flipper! A machine with a flipper armored in aluminium and polyethylene. The flipper has been labeled as innovative by the team, and it definitely looks like an interesting design. But there is quite a bit of ground clearance, and it's also quite difficult to control. Uncle Sam! Spinner! The iconic hero of America, Uncle Sam enters the battle to cause damage to claim victory for the states. I'm English, and I have no clue who the hell this guy is. Someone please fill me in. While I'm waiting for that, the spinning blade on board will be ripping into his foes as he strives to the top. Just as long as he's not flipped over, as he doesn't seem to be able to self-right.
Robot ears, stand by.
Constrictor, with their flipper and uncontrollable design. And Uncle Sam, the American hero, with the front spinning blade. And to tell the truth, out of the two of these, Constrictor, the only one here with any real experience when it comes to robot combat.
3, 2, 1.
That's mainly due to Constrictor being in 2 previous wars in Robot Wars. They fought in Series 2 with Ron, and fought Series 7 with Constrictor, again thrown up by the German runner-up Tsunami, although they nearly had Uncle Sam up and over there. And they're the only one, well actually, because of how Uncle Sam is with the ground clearance, they can get underneath Uncle Sam and throw them up and over, and right now slamming them into the wall, and are trying to throw them over, I think. I don't think driving into the wall is intelligent, Constrictor. And Uncle Sam, well, they're not wasting time. They are still trying to rack up some points, and they will do so with that spinning blade. And Uncle Sam definitely seems to be pressurizing Constrictor. Constrictor now pushing back. And now Uncle Sam's stuck on top of them. And is that holding Constrictor down, I wonder? There's no movement from either of these machines, so maybe, no, Uncle Sam is fine. Constrictor firing the weapon for some reason. I don't know why. There's no drive though, and I think Constrictor are immobilized. Well, well, there goes the floor flipper. It's thrown them both, but only one went up and over. Look at this again. Uncle Sam pushing them to the floor flipper. It fired. Well, I say fires, it just pops. And Uncle Sam gets thrown over. Constrictor firing the weapon. I don't think there's any movement. They're out of it. And that's it. Constrictor surprisingly out. And it's Constrictor who have to go home. Uncle Sam, who I don't really think did much, they go through. Well done, Uncle Sam. What happened to Constrictor? Did they burn out or something? Probably. Uncle Sam's still spinning around. Lovely. Brilliant. Quite the upset, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Uncle Sam go through, and this is how it lines up for the second round. Velocity up against Uncle Sam. Oh dear for them. But first up, it's Beholder. Hope they've repaired themselves in time. And the unique flipper of X marks the spot.
Robot ears, stand by.
Beholder with the spinning blade, which I don't really think did much in its last fight, other than snipe off the 2 wheels to left lane cruiser. And X marks the spot with the very unique flipping weapon, which almost threw themselves out along with Wyvern.
2, 1.
This will be quite interesting, although X marks the spot, clearly the lower wedge, and the more effective weapon as it's throwing Beholder away. And now, over the pit! And that— oh no! What were you doing? You could have had— did you not see the pit? From this, clearly not. Look at this. They've thrown Beholder over it, and then they've driven into it themselves. Wow! That is just poor on their part. They're still able to throw Beholder away, and I think Beholder might have just stopped driving now.
Cease.
Probably a good thing as well. Cease is called. Beholder staying where they are while X marks a spot seems to be trying to throw themselves back into the fight. I don't think you'll be able to, especially not from that angle, guys. Oh, what a shame. I expected a bit more from X marks a spot, but they're out of it, and it's Beholder in the heat final. I real surprised. I thought Beholder were done for, but no, it's X marks a spot who crash out. And next up, Velocity and Uncle Sam.
Robot ears, stand by.
Velocity with the powerful CO2 flipper, which you saw against Strum, and Uncle Sam with the grinding blade, which probably actually did do some damage to the burnt out Constrictor.
3, 2, 1.
So who will be, well, oh, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting Velocity to get underneath Uncle Sam right away. That didn't happen. That's what I was expecting. Up and over goes Uncle Sam and self-rights. Wasn't expecting that. But what I was expecting was for Velocity to get underneath and throw them into the air again and throw them again. That's a very powerful flipper on Velocity, which could go all the way in this competition. And Uncle Sam throwing a... Whoa, no, what are you doing? It's happening again. Although I think this time it was more panic. Down the pit. Look at this again. In comes Velocity. There goes the drive. They just freaked. I think they thought they were about to drive into the pit and reversed. They've thrown Uncle Sam out. There we go. Poor Velocity. That was not deliberately their fault. They just panicked and thought they'd driven into the pit or got caught on it. Tried to get away. And it ended up sending them down and out. Poor Velocity. Uncle Sam. Their throw. So it's going to be a battle of luck for the heat final. Uncle Sam go through to join Beholder. Two machines that are very, very lucky to have made it this far. This will be interesting. Our heat final with two spinning weapons. One's a spinning bar in the form of Beholder, the other's a spinning disc in the form of Uncle Sam. Beholder sniped off the wheels to left lane cruiser, but took some serious damage there. And from then on, I don't think the drive has been the same. Left lane cruiser actually had more control, although you wouldn't believe it from that stunt. Throwing themselves over, but righting themselves. Beholder couldn't really do anything. They had no real control and just had to watch left lane cruiser throw themselves into the pit. X marks a spot. More effective against Beholder as well. Throwing them over the pit there, and then threw themselves into the pit. Whoops. Uncle Sam dealt with Constrictor, although they were definitely struggling at first, but kept coming on the attack, and this is where Constrictor burned out. You can see the smoke coming out. This is where Constrictor died, and Uncle Sam pushed them into the floor flipper. Except when they got flipped up and over. Constrictor remained. And then, it was a surprise start against Velocity. That's what we all expected. I mean, expected Velocity to throw them out the arena. We didn't expect them to throw themselves down the pit.
Robot ears, stand by.
Beholder with the spinning bar and the gigantic exposed wheels and the front wedge. And Uncle Sam with the big spinning, well, I say big, it's a small spinning blade. Both of whom I think are lucky to be here.
3, 2, 1.
And of the two, I'd say Beholder are the more lucky ones. And there, something's come off of Uncle Sam. Meanwhile, Uncle Sam are pushing away at Beholder and pushing them towards the pit, and down they go! And they've fallen in too! But I think that's it! Uncle Sam are the winners! Look at this again! There's the push, there's the drive! And down into the pit. Beholder, the first to fall into the pit. And then Uncle Sam, who go through to the grand finals. A properly deserved victory for Uncle Sam, and commiserations for Beholder, who I don't think really got going after their fight with Left Lane Cruiser. But that's how this heat has gone. Uncle Sam goes through, and that leaves us with 2 heats left. Well, forget about bullfighting and those brave matadors, because we only see red on Robot Wars. Bye-bye.